footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2013 preview of the Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl between the Fresno State Bulldogs and the USC Trojans. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Bulldogs.
Offense has been the name of the game for Fresno State all year long, and the Bulldogs have one of the best passing attacks in the country, led by sensational quarterback Derek Carr. And the way they put strain on the defense is by spreading the field in 3, 4, and sometimes empty sets. And the receiving core is equally as talented, with NFL prospect Davante Adams leading the way with over 1,600 yards receiving and 23 touchdowns. Now look for Fresno State to try to expand USC's defense to try to attack their nickel and dime defenders by running the football versus a defense with one less linebacker on the field. Defensively, you have to like what you see from junior free safety Deron Smith, tremendous ball hawk with great range from sideline to sideline. But up front is where I believe they're going to have to earn their scholarships this week versus USC, as the Trojans will challenge the Bulldogs' ability to stop the outside zone and the power running game, which is why I believe nose tackle Tyler Davidson will need a big game, as getting interior pressure could give those linebackers free rein to the football. Now let's move over to USC in this ball game, and it's been the tale of 2 seasons for the Trojans. Since October 26, USC got back to basics: power running game, play action pass, and the stifling defense, including an impressive upset versus number 5 Stanford, all of which could help them this week versus Fresno State. Now offensively, what a year running backs Trey Madden and Javarius Allen have had. Both backs combined for over 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns. Now versus Fresno, you have to focus on the offensive line, and can they control the line of scrimmage versus the speed of the Bulldogs defenders? And in the passing game, can they be efficient enough to keep the chains moving? Because those things will have to happen if they want to have success on offense. Defensively, in the front 7, the Trojans are physical, athletic, and even better, they're young. Outside linebacker Devon Kennard is the lone senior of this group, but 5 techniques, George Yuko and also Leonard Williams, are the most disruptive. The back end will get the most work versus Fresno State passing game, and what I like most about those guys is the versatility that they have with freshmen Sua Cravens and Leon McQuay, and also juniors Deion Bailey and Josh Shaw. All guys excel on both ends of defense. The X factor for the Bulldogs will be their offensive line. This is the best front 7 they've faced all season long, and they're going to have to make sure they keep Derek Carr well protected in the pocket while also firing off the football in the running game. And the X factor for the Trojans will be their passing game. A lot of times teams can disrupt the running game with speed, and we know Fresno State has a lot of speed on their defense, and it's going to be up to Cody Kessler to keep the offense on pace, being efficient throwing the football. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Fresno State, the wide receivers have to win the individual matchups, and that's when they go to those 3, 4, and sometimes empty sets. Like I've mentioned before, USC has a lot of talent and a lot of versatility on the back end, and they can match up one-on-one with the wide receivers of Fresno State, so they have to win those battles in order for this offense to have success. And also they have to make sure they continue to control the tempo on both sides of the ball. And we know Fresno State loves to play up-tempo on offense, try to get that rapid pace going very early, but defensively they have to make sure they win on these early down and distances in order to back up that Trojan offense and get them out of their tendencies. And the red zone defense has to excel this week versus USC. They have to keep the Trojans out of the end zone and force them to kick field goals once they get inside the 20. And for USC in this ballgame, I believe they have to stay tight with their formations in order to have success. Fresno State is used to playing teams that want to spread the field with 3, 4, and sometimes 5 wide receiver sets. USC is your classic 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, utilize a fullback in the backfield, and sometimes going double tight type of team. And I think that's how they can have some success, matching up physically versus Fresno State. And they have to maintain active hands in the secondary versus the passing game of Fresno State. Derek Carr is a guy that will flatline a lot of passes, and his passes tend to come out hot, which means you can get tip passes that could result into interceptions. And on offense, I believe the run after the catch will be greater than the air yards. You have 2 guys that are excellent run after the catch type of receivers in Nelson Aguilar and also Marquise Lee. Get these guys the football quickly, allow them to make one miss, and I think that's how they can have some success in the passing game. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to watch out for in this ballgame, and as expected, when you have an 11-1 squad in Fresno State and a 9-4 team in USC, you're going to see a lot of pro talent on the field and some guys that stand out immediately. Davante Adams, a redshirt sophomore for Fresno State, outstanding prospect going against that Trojan secondary led by Deion Bailey, a versatile guy that can play free or strong safety. Now quarterback Derek Carr is one of the best quarterbacks in the land. He's going to have to make sure he evades the pressure coming from Devon Kennard and also George Yuko along that defensive line. And Marquise Lee has been one of the more polished receivers in the country, so this is a lot of talent on the field, which has the makings for a great game in the Las Vegas Bowl. The 1993 Las Vegas Bowl featured Utah State and Ball State, and this was the Aggies' first bowl appearance in 32 years, led by sensational quarterback Anthony Cavillo, who would later go on to a future Hall of Fame career in the CFL. Now, the Aggies were able to get their first bowl game victory in school history by outgunning the Cardinals 42-33. Quarterback Trent Dilfer led the co-WAC champion Fresno State Bulldogs over the 23rd-ranked USC Trojans in the 1992 Freedom Bowl, and while both Dilfer and running back Lorenzo Neal, who was also the game's MVP, they were solid, it was Fresno State's defense that had its way with that Trojans offense picking off 3 passes and only holding USC to 7 points in a 24-7 victory. The 1939 Rose Bowl was a defensive struggle between Duke and USC, and the Blue Devils were undefeated at 9-0 and ranked number 3 in the country. Now, the 8-2 Trojans, who were ranked number 7 at the time, coached by legend Howard Jones, were able to put together an impressive fourth-quarter drive that ended with quarterback Dole Nave hitting wide receiver Al Kruger in the corner of the end zone for the game-winning touchdown as the Trojans knocked off Duke 7-3. Henry Eller was an outstanding player for Fresno State from 1979 to 1982, and for a long time he held the record for receiving touchdowns in a career with 25, and he finished his Fresno State career with over 3,000 yards receiving and 138 receptions. Before he went on to a Hall of Fame career as a defensive back for the Green Bay Packers, Willie Wood was an outstanding quarterback for USC. Actually, he was the first black quarterback in Pac-10 history from 1956 to 1959, a dual-threat guy that did a lot of damage on the ground. I like USC in this ballgame. This will be the toughest test Fresno State has faced all season long, and the reason why this is a tough matchup for Fresno State is the fact that USC in the secondary can match up one-on-one with the receiving core of Fresno State, so I think that's the battle USC will win. Plus, they're able to control the line of scrimmage with the running game, and I think this will be a close matchup, but USC's defense in the secondary will be the reason why they win the 2013 Las Vegas Bowl.